What up? How you doing, everybody? Welcome to my channel. This is You Too Can Be Great. I'm gonna make this short and sweet, okay? Because Salt Lake City only has specific parts on each episode that I feel is worth mentioning in any capacity because it's significant. And moving forward for the Real Housewives, franchise and all the little messy stuff that they're doing. It's ironic to me for me to say that Salt Lake City, the first season, this first time that this show has ever aired, is doing better than Real Housewives of Atlanta that has been running for what, 14, 15 seasons. I'm shocked because Atlanta is like, I don't know, Potomac surpassed them. Can't nobody beat Potomac this year. Atlanta, you need to go and get to the part where you could accuse Portia and Tanya of having a threesome and scissoring with a stripper, because I don't know what y'all doing. Now, after this review, I'm going to go ahead and do Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta, this season 4, episode 2, I believe. So go ahead and stay tuned for that. But in this episode, I didn't do last review for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City because I was a little bit busy this week. I had stuff to do. But it ended basically with Jen Shah throwing a surprise birthday party for Sharif after 20 some odd years because, number 2, she wants him to be home. She misses him. She ain't getting none, not even as simple as attention or hello, goodbye. All he gives her is phone sex by way of giving her several daily affirmations or something that she's supposed to live her life by, or give her like a motivation to get up the day and live with her life. That is how she gets her orgasm, through his words, because she cannot touch him physically and she don't have nobody to talk to. So she threw this birthday party for him, this hip-hop birthday party. At the birthday party, Whitney decides that she wants to show off her hip-hop moves. Was Whitney good with the hip-hop moves? I mean, she almost failed, but I gave her, kudo points for trying. But in this environment where they try to do this whole Mormon thing and how they're all so perfect and they have to be perfect in the eyes of God, in other words, take all the fun out of life, Whitney's the only one that's living life the way that I think she should. And right now, she's my favorite cast member in this little Real Housewives franchise. She's my favorite person because all the other girls I have an issue with, including Heather herself, who I did like in the beginning, but I'm starting to look at her sideways. I'm going to explain why. So Whitney's doing her little booty dance. She's upside down. Is she doing too much? Yes. But Whitney also has a pole in her house. So is it surprising to see that somebody with a pole in their house who is a little bit freeing, who chose to defy the whole Mormonism, all this other extra stuff they're doing, and cheat on her husband? Not only that, but marry the person that she cheated with? Am I shocked that she's comfortable doing this? Hell no. Now, the problem with the situation is Lisa, who I think is full of herself and always wants things to be about herself. And because it's not about her and she's jealous of Whitney because Whitney's young, beautiful, and full of life, I feel like Lisa is very jealous of Whitney. So anything that Whitney does is going to strike her as, oh my God, why did she do that? She's going to always find fault in Whitney in every possible way she can. And I can't wait for the reunion so Whitney can read ass, okay? Because I know Whitney speaks her mind. So she does a little dance. And then later on in the end of the episode, she lets Jen know that when she was talking to Mary, who I don't understand why they're keeping Mary out of this entire franchise. We're on episode 9? And it seems like Mary has only popped up in the beginning of the episode to tell us that she's been fucking her step-grandfather. And that she'd been stealing the church money, and she robbed her dead grandma and stole all her money so she can marry her boo, her husband, and get the church and be the first lady, all that stuff. That was the ish that we wanted to talk about the first couple episodes. That was a thing. Now it seems like either Jen or Bravo Network is deliberately not giving Mary some camera time. A couple episodes ago, or last episode, she was crying because she felt like she's being booted out, almost like the whole Mean Girl situation, which I don't understand because these are supposed to be old people who are like more mature because they're Mormons. They're supposed to have a good heart and be good, while they're treating Mary like she's a fucking outcast. But I have a theory on that later. I'm going to just express it. But for now, Mary wasn't invited because Jen feels some type of way of using the whole hospital thing as just a bull excuse because she's jealous of her too. So she basically gets mad and tries to deflect because now we know that she still does not get any attention from Sharif, because here she is at a party and Sharif is giving everybody else attention to in the party she's throwing for him, and she's not getting the love and the appreciation and the words of showering. I love you for this. I missed you. I'm so happy we're doing this for me. I'm so happy you took the time to. She's not getting none of that, right? So she's focusing all her frustration out on somebody else. So Whitney decides in this environment, which was a piss poor ass environment to tell her, but she decides to tell her, yo, I talked to Mary, who you didn't invite, who I know you feel like is your arch enemy in your own mind. You're the only one. And according to her, Lisa and Meredith, who you are working overtime to be in their good graces and not going after them the way that you go after Heather and Whitney and Mary, because they're not about to tolerate your bull. they have been talking about you behind your back, and they're saying that they're scared. Do I think that me personally, I'll be scared of Jen? No, because I will go ahead and knock her little lopsided, weird body-shaped ass. I mean, she is disproportionately shaped. I'm sorry. There's no way you can go ahead and remove that. My eyes saw it. It was blinded by it. I saw it in addition to the lip injections and the face surgery that she didn't get and all the laser that she's gotten. Everything. Her ass don't match her shoulders. It looks like she has a swimmer's body. She's up top heavy here and the lower half don't make sense. She has no ass, barely any legs, and then the top part, she got these boobs that she got, and then she got this face that I feel like has been tampered with compared to the picture I saw in the beginning of the episode. Do I like Jen? No, because Jen does a little bit too much, and since the first episode, all I've seen her do is act a fool in almost every single episode I've seen her. I'm curious to see how she reacts in the reunion when she gets to see herself and what the world is seeing. Do I think that Jen's mental health is contributing to her bad behavior? Absolutely. But do I attribute everything that she's doing to her mental state? No, some of it is deliberate. And I feel like she's old enough to know when she's being deliberate because her own husband called her stupid and said she acting crazy. Last episode said that she's out here acting a mess and she's drinking and doing the most. Even in front of her children, she threw a glass because somebody told her that Mary said that the girls that she'd been trying to kiss their ass is talking shit behind her back by saying that they're afraid of her. That was what set her off. And I noticed in the last episode that Heather made a beeline and left Whitney, her cousin, there out to dry. And Mary said it. Heather has two faces. And Whitney clocked it in this episode. She said, Heather, I felt like you left me out there, because Heather also tried to convince Whitney to speak her mind and speak up and be the mouth, just like Mary did. But when it came time for her to have her back and be her rider, she bounced. So is Heather a little bit fakeish? Yes, she is, because I saw it in this episode. Do it to Mary, do it to everybody, but you're not your damn family, girl, because you did that shit. Whitney is her family, and she did that to her. So Whitney now decides that she's now going to try and plan this spa getaway situation to go and get Jen to come, because they want to express to Jen that they did not mean to cause an issue, and that they wanted to let her know that these two women that you're trying so hard to be part of their group and who you boot Mary out of the way for because you feel like Mary is a threat to you. Mary, according to the rumors, before she stole from her grandmama, God rest her soul, that her grandmother and her empire that they amassed were the richest in Utah, in the state of Utah. So when Mary inherited it, that makes her the richest person there. And aside from her, the next person that they might talk about that has a lot of wealth is Meredith and Lisa, right? So Jen is working overtime to be in their good graces, and she feels like if Mary's in the mix, Mary might take on the next limelight, because Lisa and Meredith already got it. They got the whole Utah thing. We're calm. We handle ourselves with decorum. We don't yell. We don't scream. Everything, every time that somebody puts us in a mess, we're disengaging. We're disengaging. So Jen feels like the only person that she can now ride with the Mean Girls is her. She doesn't want Mary to come. Not to mention, she said that everybody in Utah thought she was black. Mary is black for real. So there's several reasons for her not to want Mary around. She feels very threatened with Mary. So she don't want to hear Mary's name. She don't want to see Mary's face. She'll keep throwing parties in every single episode to make sure that Mary doesn't come. So next season, they'll boot the only black person on this show off so Jen can feel like she's the it girl. Right? That's what's going to happen. So basically, we get to everybody retelling their version of what they remember that happened at the birthday party, right? Meredith is at home, and she's telling her version of the story, saying that somebody's lying because she don't feel like either it's Whitney that's lying or Mary's lying. Do I feel like Mary's lying by what Mary said? No, I think Mary is telling the truth when she said that they did call her and say that they're afraid of her, or they talked to her somehow and said that they're afraid of her, afraid of Jen. But Meredith's more concern is the fact that she had learned from Whitney that Jen had also behind her back been telling people stories insinuating that she was cheating on her husband, who now all of a sudden she's completely in love with, and she's kissing, and they're talking about having sex in goggles and high heels and taking a hike up the vagina. Like, seriously, she went from not wanting to be around him a month ago is what they showed, to now all of a sudden being all over him. Do I feel like it's a motive behind it? Yes, I do feel like Jen was right in insinuating that Meredith, who wants to look like she's perfection, is out there screwing around and spreading it wide and letting everybody in her cooch and letting all that loose because she's been around him for a long time. And whenever they talk to each other, it's like dry. It's dry. There's no like excitement. Even when they're trying to flirt, I just don't see it. I don't see it. Like, is it in relationship? Now, I'm married, so I flirt differently. Maybe it's because of me, but I'm watching them even flirt Meredith and Seth, and I just don't see the flirtation there. Now, I'm happy I didn't get to see Brooke's ass in this particular episode, because he seems like he's always like complaining and having the same tone. Maybe it's a family thing. Who knows? I'm happy he wasn't in this episode. I got a break. Now, Lisa tells the part of the story, and Lisa now vilifies Whitney because Lisa has a thing against Whitney. I don't care how many people say she don't, she does. She looks at Whitney and either she's jealous or she feels some type of way when Whitney's in the room. She always got something bad to say about that girl. And because Whitney's related to Heather, she tried to say earlier on in the episode that she didn't even know Heather, right? Lisa is also fake and fraudulent and likes for things to be about her. All these people with money have some level of self-centeredness within themselves, except for Heather and Whitney. Seems like they always want to be like they're either on top or they're looked at as the example of how they're supposed to be. But Lisa is full of shit and she's full of herself. And she's very self-centered. So she's telling her husband, who has no words and always doesn't speak and just sits there and just listens to everything she has to say and don't tell her the truth, that Whitney is the bad person and Whitney's acting bad shit crazy and somebody's lying and she's not afraid of Jen and da-da-da-da-da, which she's lying. Then we get to Heather talking about her little business that she's going on and how when she was married, she couldn't speak and she couldn't say anything, and that her job as a Mormon wife was to cater to her husband, support her husband, do everything her husband says and not say no. You got me fucked up because I do that all the time. I say no every time if I feel like something's wrong. I definitely speak my mind to my husband and I definitely pursue my goals with his support as it should be. So I can't be married in Mormon religion. Y'all would have been cast me out the first day because I would have told all y'all to fuck up and I would have left that church like this. Okay? That's how I would have done it. Now, we get to the part where Jen is now, at some point, Jen decides to disclose to her help everything that's going on with Sharif, her husband, because she can't talk to any other girls. She's mad at Whitney. She don't know if she can just translate that anger over to Heather. She can't talk to Lisa and Meredith because they might ask her or she might have to ask them if they're talking to Mary. So she now turns all her attention to the help, to tell the help her marital problems. And I'm just thinking to myself, I don't think this girl is paid enough to listen to this bullshit, Jen. I'm sure they've seen you do a lot of crazy things, behave a lot of crazy ways, and act a fucking fool. I don't think that they feel like you paid them enough money to be listening to this. But she kept on her good work face. She kept on that smile, that fake smile, and fake it till you make it, girl, and stood there and listened to Jen blame everybody but herself for the incident that happened at her party that she was throwing. Was Whitney wrong for talking about it there? Yes. But Jen could have controlled herself a lot better considering that it wasn't about her, it was her husband? Yes. Did she choose this moment to make it about herself, thinking that her husband will go home and console her and hold her because she's now mad and she's going through it, and it was another way of trying to seek attention from her husband, yet it backfired in her face? Abso-fucking-lutely. That's what happened. So they get to this whole place. It looked like they were somewhere in the desert. Like I was expecting a wolf to pop out at some point or a bear to come out. Like I thought they were camping in daylight when they went to this cabin that just seemed like it was in the middle of nowhere. Is Utah really look like that in real life? Because I'm curious. I'm gonna have to just go there to see this place that looks like it doesn't even belong attached to the rest of the country. It looks like it's an island on its own. I've never seen a place like that before. Even when I went to Colorado, it didn't look like that. But they went to this cabin place and it was supposed to be a spa. And they got the bathtubs outside. And there's some water coming out the bathtubs. Now, the scene was beautiful because you get to be outside and look outside, but I just don't know, I just don't know. But they get there and Jen is like, oh my gosh, I feel like you guys are here to kill me or somebody's there to kidnap you or something. And all I'm thinking is, girl, somebody kidnapped your ass, they'll just, they'll just bring your ass back and say, I will pay you the ransom to keep your ass here. Nobody wants you, Jen, girl. Don't ever want to kill you. You're not that important to people for them to think that intricately in what to do with you, girl. She went over there and she had it in her mind that she was going to now put all the blame on Whitney as far as to her behavior. See, this is why I don't like with entitled people. Entitled people have a hard time accepting responsibility for the fuckery that they display, whether in public or private. And Jen has made a pattern of never taking responsibility for her behavior in every capacity. Okay? So when they get there, I love that Whitney is young, but she also knows how to stand her ground, because they're sitting there trying to tell her, you messed it up. I didn't mean for it to get that far. I just wanted to be honest and be a friend with you. I initially thought that if I did it in front of your husband, you were always on your best behavior in front of your husband, that you would be more receptive to it because now he's here watching you and you don't want to act a fool in front of him. But boy, was I wrong, child, because you still acted stupid. In the middle of Jen trying to blame Whitney for her husband not talking to her for 4 days because she acted a fool in the birthday party she threw him, she decides to splash water on the producers and the people recording her, talking about, that's what happens when you video me in a fucking bathtub, bitch. You chose to show up. It's a reality TV show. You're now picking fight at whoever it is you can pick at to place blame on somebody else. That's what you're doing. And when Whitney wasn't falling for your bullshit, you now decided to go and attack the next person you felt was there. And that's in addition to you crying while you're acting a fool. Those little crocodile tears don't mean shit to me. If I was anybody around Jen and she started crying, I would have just got up and walked away, because I am what? Disengaging. Because Jen, you're always trying to figure out who to blame for your bad behavior, and you use the excuse to, I just care so much. It was so important to me. It's because I love you so much. It's like all these heifers know how to cry on cue. Girl, them tears don't mean nothing to me. And it seemed like Heather understood that, because when Jen left after her and Whitney are fighting and she's saying, I'll drown you, bitch, she ain't gonna do shit. Whitney will kick your ass. That's how I feel. She will drag your little lopsided ass. She might hit your ass so much your shape will get back into the right way, because you look a hot mess. She might just rearrange your entire face to the way it looked like before you got all that damn surgery, girl. So for you to sit up here and not act the way you do, she got up and left the bathtub. And then Heather's like, oh, Whitney, she's going through something in her relationship. I can tell that that's why she's behaving this way. Stop giving this old ass woman an excuse. She's grown enough to know how to control herself. And if she has meds to take, she needs to go ahead and be responsible enough to take them. Don't blame that, or don't you start using that as an excuse for her to keep acting the way that she's a bully. She's a real bully in real life. That's what she is. So she comes back and Heather decides to take a page out of her book and starts crying. You know what Lisa did to me. You know how she made me feel. She snubbed her. And so I'm really worried that you care about your friendship with them more than you care about me. And she's right. Jen cares a lot about her friendship with Meredith and with Lisa more so than she cares about her friendship with Heather and Whitney, because they're the girls that she considers in her mind are cool, the girls who are respected. That's why she's going out of her way to try to expose Meredith, because she feels like she has found a flaw in the people that she's idolized and she's envied. Hurt people hurt people. I've had people in my life who looked at me and met me for the first time and put it in their brain that I was perfect when they first met me. And so they're in their mind looking for a problem or a fault or something that they can now use to make themselves feel better instead of just focusing on making themselves better in its entirety. That is how Jen is feeling right now. So she's looking for stuff that she can find on Meredith. Yeah, she's right. Meredith probably was fucking around, but technically it's none of your business to be spreading your friend's business to other people. It's up to Meredith to tell people about her life. Plus, she's trying to fix her marriage. Doing that causes an issue in their marriage because you're having an issue in your marriage. Hurt people hurt people. And now that she feels like Meredith has an Achilles heel, she's trying to cut her in that heel. But Heather decides to say, you know what? I'm going to call you out with tears so you don't have a reason to get mad, because if I'm crying and Jen decides to act a fool, people on television watching, even the producers she just splashed water in their face at, are going to feel like, Jen, you're a complete bitch because this girl is crying and you're still going to act like a fool. So she has no choice but to rein herself in. Heather manipulated the fuck out of Jen in that situation as much as Jen manipulated the hell out of them. That's what that happened. And she got her to sit there and listen and stop trying to throw it all on Whitney. That's why Jen decided to hold on to her anger. And the next episode, she's going to now bring this situation back up to try and get Whitney and telling Heather, you need to stop defending her. Girl, they are related. You need to shut up and stop acting like people got to be on your side whenever you mad. You're grown. Then in this episode, she also took the time to finally tell Sharif how she felt. Now, she went down a list and all the stuff that he has not done. Sharif has not been present she wasn't there for her parents' funeral. He's not there on a daily basis. She's trying to act like she's strong enough to be married to herself, only by herself, to please herself, to take care of herself, to cook for herself, to wine and dine herself. She's trying to stay strong, but she's having a hard time doing it because it seems like she's codependent on Sharif and she expects her husband to be there because now her parents are gone and she needs somebody there to support her or to talk about her or to make her feel good about herself all the time. Now, is Sharif supposed to be gone as often as he's gone? No. Do I think that Sharif may at some point have fucked around on her? Yes. I absolutely believed it. However, it seems like she's breaking and she needs someone there aside from all the people that she's paying, because this girl got 4 assistants. She is paying them to be her friend. That's what that is. And she needs Sharif to now take the place because she knows that she's been wasting her money this whole time. That's what that is. But Sharif finally admits that this is the first time that Jen has been open with him, because Jen seems to be loud-mouthing to everybody else. But when it comes to her husband, she shies away because she's too afraid that she might lose him. So she can't be honest with him. Girl, you've been married to this man this whole time and you can't be honest with him? Lord help me, I might need to take some tips from her because my mouth goes off before my brain catches up. So I don't have any time to hide anything from my man. If I'm not happy, the entire person and everybody in this house will know I'm not happy. And I don't care if you end up walking out the house. If you go somewhere else and you feel like that's what you need to do for 4 days, your ass better stay there. I'm going to tell you how I feel because we're married and I have to be able to communicate. I can't just bottle all this stuff in and then go and start yelling at people and blaming people for my problems, Jen. Child, you're grown. You should be able to handle yourself a lot better. But it seems like Sharif was more willing to listen to her. And perhaps maybe he might change his behavior and be around more often. I don't see it happening because next episode she's trying to fight somebody else and bring Whitney up again. So I don't think she's going to change. But that was the essence of what this episode brought. I found Salt Lake City to be more entertaining than Atlanta, so that's why I'm still reviewing it, because I think that there's something that are giving us some kind of drama that's happening. It's focused on Jen. But all these girls are trying so hard to be on this pedestal that they're so good and that they're so Mormon. Watch, by season 2 or 3, just like Potomac, some crazy ass shit's gonna happen, and it's gonna be good, and we're gonna talk about it just like we're doing now. All right, so please like, subscribe, notification bell. Let me know what you guys think about this episode. I'm going to go ahead and do my review for Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta. Look for it later on, either later tonight or tomorrow. It depends on how I feel because I still got to eat dinner. But I wanted to go on and post this before I do that one so we get a back-to-back type show. All right, love you.